Jerry Brown here with Jerry Brown Travels.
Laurie here.
Well, if you haven't heard, I provide a phone consultation, a private phone consultation. It's 50 minutes. There is a fee for that. If you would like to book one, we can go over information like this. At the end of the video, at the bottom left-hand corner, it'll say book now. Just press on that, click on that. It'll send you over to a booking site. I know I can help you and I can save you a lot of frustration and save you a lot of money. Well, recently I was having a phone consultation with Mary, and Mary was asking me, would she go to jail if she didn't have the proper paperwork traveling through Mexico, the proper immigration, paperwork, and traveling. And she said that she had seen a video that we posted a few months back where it was a gentleman that did get detained because he didn't have his FMM tourist card at that time, and he was detained for 6 days. She was very concerned about that, and she didn't want to have any trouble traveling in Mexico. So the other question that she was concerned about, she had heard also that she needed to have an address where she was staying or living, be able to present it also if immigration, was to ask for that. And so let's answer that question for Mary right now. Well, a lot of times when we talk about traveling in Mexico, we talk about a tourist card. Tourist card is a card that you get. It's good for up to 180 days. You can travel all through Mexico. Recently, the laws changed that they don't always provide you with an FMM tourist card. It's not really a card, it's a piece of paper, and you get that, fill out. They give you the end, the bottom of it, and typically you would carry that with your passport. Some entry points still use the FMM tourist card, and they'll give you that little piece of paper. But some entry points into Mexico, when you come in, they don't use that anymore. So what they do, you present your passport, and then they stamp it. And they write in there how many days that they are allowing you to stay in Mexico. It could be 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, but up to a maximum of 180 days. You definitely need to leave the country before that expires. Okay, so if you get pulled over, say what's happening now is they're doing a lot more checking out on proper paperwork traveling in Mexico, especially with a lot of what's happening from Central America, South America. People are trying to get to the Mexican border, and so maybe they're on a bus, and so there's roadblocks that will stop. Immigration officers will get on and they will check paperwork and to find out if you do have the proper paperwork. So what you can present to them, and you have to legally do this, okay? You have to present to them either that little FMM, little receipt, or if you present, and your passport, or it's all maybe in just your passport. So if they stamped it in there, that's equivalent of having that FMM card. So you present your passport, has all your documents in there, and you're free to go. There's no problem with that. Let's say, like my friend that I interviewed, he didn't have that paperwork. So he was taken off the bus, all of his luggage was gone through, and they confiscated all of his luggage, and they took him 6 hours away to a detention center. And he was in the detention center for 6 days. He said it wasn't a jail, anything like that, but it definitely felt like a jail. They were very courteous to him, they were very kind, they fed him and everything else. Minimal amount of food and stuff like that. So that's typically the way it works. An immigration officer can check for your paperwork. Also, the National Guard. Those are the two organizations that can check your paperwork legally. The policemen, they don't have legal authority to do that. They can ask for, say, your driver's license, maybe you have a rental agreement, you're renting a car, and your insurance, proof of insurance, if you're driving a rental car or you're driving your own car here.
Subscribe. If you didn't subscribe yet, please subscribe or make a comment or thumb up. So we are very appreciate that.
If you get detained and that they can deport you out of Mexico. This is what happened to the gentleman in that video we made. They deported him, and he had to, leave Mexico. They actually got him on a plane, and he left that way. So you don't want to have that trouble. Now, let's look at it realistically. Let's say you're at the beach, and what do you do with that? Well, maybe you treat it the same way you would with, let's say, your wallet or some other identification. You're at the beach. Well, try to treat it like that. But let's say you left it in your room. And typically, on the beach, they're not going to check. Immigration doesn't walk around the beach and check. It's going to be more at a roadblock, stopping, and maybe there's at a stop where they're even checking for alcohol consumption and see if you have your safety belts on, bus stops, stuff like that. That's where you're going to be checking, immigration will be checking. On the beach, you really don't have to worry about it. But let's just say, worst case scenario, that you were in a place where you got asked for that. Maybe you were driving home and you got pulled over and you were asked for that. You went by a roadblock. Well, it may detain you for, let's say, a day until somebody went back to your room and got that paperwork and took it to them so they could see it. But they can detain you they could detain you actually anywhere up to, at the very most, would be 30 days. That'd be an extreme. As this fellow that we made the video, he was detained 6 days. So you don't want to go through that. That's not going to be fun at all. So just think smart, carry the right paperwork, get in that habit, and that'll save you a lot of frustration and trouble.
Make a comment.
Okay. So, yes, you have to carry your immigration paperwork with you, your passport with you. Somebody on social media pages posted, well, you just need to take a photograph of your passport or your immigration papers and just present that and they'll accept it. Well, legally, that isn't true. They don't have to accept that. They want to have the actual documents. So you got to be concerned or careful about what you see a lot of times on Facebook. A lot of information down here is not really applicable. It really isn't the truth. And even saying that, I want you to know that I go to immigration officers, I go to immigration attorneys when I'm checking out different things. I try to interview people and talk to people that know the law. But even saying that, even verify what I'm telling you, okay? Because the laws change. It wasn't too long ago that they didn't have this new process where you stamped in the passport, and they got rid of the FMM tourist card. So that's a new law. And so verify what I say, verify what you hear on social media or different things. There's a lot of things down in Mexico that are not true, and you want to verify it. Another question that Mary asked me, she says, just in general information, Jerry, you that live there permanently, you either have a temporary resident visa or you have a permanent resident visa. Do you need to carry your card with you all the time? Can you take a photograph of it, and carry that in your phone, let's say? Well, the answer to that, Mary, is we legally have to carry our temporal or our permanent resident visas with us. It's a little bit easier in that regard because it's a card, it's plastic. So if we go to the beach and we have that, if sand gets on it, just wipe it off. No problem with that. So we personally do carry it with us. Legally, you can't take a photograph of it and use it as a proof that you have it. But saying that, we still take a photograph of it just in case something happened, we lost it. At least we have a backup plan. And that's what I'd recommend. Take a backup plan. But no, legally, it's not something you can use to get out of, let's say, detention. So, no. The answer is no, Mary. You need to carry your card with you all the time, even us as residents. Now, this is a little side note. It has to do with us, and more residents will do this. we actually have our attorney's business card with all of his information on it. So this way, if we were there ever in a situation where we were detained or we were, a car accident is an example like that, there could be a situation that they would want to take in both parties into the police department and sort out who was legally right or wrong in that. So we may be detained in that type of a situation. So by having our attorney's card with us, we contact them. They will send somebody down to represent us, to sort out the problem that's going on in there. That's nothing that Mary was talking about, but that's something I just thought I would throw it in. Some of the things that we need to do as we live here. Just remember that you're visiting another country. You want to be respectful to the government. You want to be respectful to the people, the authorities here. So if somebody does ask for your paperwork and they are an immigration, officer, be gracious. Just show them your paperwork, be polite. Don't get defensive. They're just doing their job. And so the best thing is being polite with them, and everything goes much smoother that way. And you'll be on your way and you won't have to go through any troubles. People that can check for your paperwork legally is the immigration officers or your Mexican National Guard. Subscribe, it's free. Also, click that notification button, and this way you'll be alerted every time a new video comes up, and we can give you some more information, and it is free. Every Friday at 5 p.m. California time, we have a new video for you. Check that out. Every Friday at 5 p.m. California time, a new video. Also, you see my face at the bottom right? There it is. Click on it and you'll be subscribing free. And you see the box on the very left that says book now. If you want to book that private phone consultation, touch on that. It'll send you to a booking site. Thank you, and do us a favor. If you feel you receive value from our videos, would you please subscribe and also mention it to a friend? If you know somebody that would get value from this video, then mention it for a friend. We would appreciate that. Thank you very much, and see you in Mexico.